Hi, this is Kathie. Welcome to Craft with Kathie. Thanks for joining me this evening. I wanted to just basically show yesterday's project, which was challenging at best. I do have a little cleanup to do on this. I missed the edge of the, I didn't realize I missed the edge of the little flourish here, so I'm going to lay the transfer back down on that and just do this one little edge, chalk it, and clean it up. And I have this a little smudging here around the edges that I could go around with the detail tool and just clean it up a little bit. But I think all in all, it turned out pretty well. And it doesn't appear that there's any adverse effects with the transfer after me getting it stuck together the way it did. That was really, even for me, that was rather extreme. I've never had one stick quite like that, but whatever. Lesson learned, do not throw a fuzzing cloth on it. Use the backer sheet and just have patience. So that's what you do if that ever happens. Anyway, tonight's project is going to be using a transfer called Feels Like Home. And it's a small little transfer. It's from our Farm Charm collection. Let me move this out of the way. And I'm going to be doing this on a found surface. I was kind of hesitant. I was almost going to do it on two different surfaces. I was like, okay, I'm not quite sure what to do. But I think this is the one that I want to do it on. It's a little insert into this frame, and I think it'll go nice on there. This is kind of like an MDF board or whatever, so before I actually do any chalking, I am going to wax it to prep the surface so that there's no issue with it harming my transfer. Our transfers are made out of vinyl, which is the teal and silk screen that you're seeing back through to the backer with. They are adhesive backed. They are reusable 8 to 12 times or more. All of our transfers come in a little cellophane envelope that basically identifies the name of the transfer on the back, and then has instructions for use and for cleaning. If you would be so kind as to let me know where you're viewing from, that would be wonderful. I'd appreciate that. I'm coming at you from the suburbs west of Chicago, which we're finally back to a little bit more spring-like weather, I suppose, as opposed to the 90s, etc., that we've been experiencing. So that's kind of nice. So I'm going to just wax this little board with some finishing paste. This is our surface wax. That it is, excuse me, it's fragrance free. So if you're sensitive to fragrance, this is much nicer than the general stuff you'll find in the hardware store. And you just rub it on, or rub it in and rub it off, basically is it. Just a little protection so that I don't lift up a splinter or anything, or the paint on this board on the back of my transfer. And then it also provides a little bit of a protective layer. I actually had used this board before, and whereas it is MDF or wood, I had a different transfer on it. And tonight I just spritzed it with water and erased it, and it came off fine. And considering it was done with our shimmer red, I was kind of impressed that it came off, because you never know with wood. The wood will absorb the pigment a lot of times. But using our transfers with our chalk paste on chalkboard or dry erase or metal or mirror or glass, basically if you tire of the image or you want to reuse the surface, you just spritz it with a little bit of water and clean it up with a paper towel. Feel free to jump in with any comments, suggestions, or questions. We're all friends here. Don't be shy. And I think I'm going to pretty much center this, and I'll have my little chicken or rooster, can you tell I'm not a farm girl, up at the top. And in keeping with some of the decor that the kitchen decor that I've done so far in the last few weeks, I think I'm going to use our Couture teal paste on this. I think it'll be nice against the white. I was almost tempted to go with our greige and kind of go more with the tan, but I was like, well, I might as well go with the whole collection of things in teal, so that's what I'm going to do. And before I could use that transfer, I want to fuzz it. It's a brand new transfer, so I'm using our fuzzing cloth. If you don't have a fuzzing cloth, you could use a towel or a pair of jeans, an old sweatshirt, whatever. Our fuzzing cloth has two sides. One side is microfiber, the other side is like terry cloth, and I use the cloth to deliberately apply a little bit of lint to the backing of the transfer to deliberately diminish its adhesiveness. You can see the shiny side, this is sticky. Our backer has one side that's kind of like a freezer paper that goes up against the sticky side so that you don't get the transfer stuck to anything else, and the other side is dull. So when you reassemble this after you've cleaned it, just remember, always apply the shiny side of the backer or carrier sheet to the adhesive side of the transfer. So to fuzz it, all I do is lay it down in our fuzzing towel, smooth it down, lift it up, smooth it down, lift it up. Generally, I do this like 3 times. Let me move my carrier sheet out of the way. And then I'm going to place it on the surface. Now, if you're not a member of my VIP group and would like to be privy to specials and bundles that I offer, please just comment VIP below. There's no obligation. Only restriction is you cannot be a Chalk Couture designer. And I'm just going to smooth this down. Oh, it's a little crooked. Let me lift up and straighten it. Anyway, I will be offering some new bundles in my VIP group. Like I said, there's no obligation whatsoever. So if you want to be privy to any of that, please comment VIP and I will send you the link. And I'm just smoothing it down, making sure there are no air bubbles underneath my silk screen. And then I'm going to use my Couture teal paste and a squeegee to apply the paste. Isn't that beautiful? Our new whippy kind of formula. To apply the paste to the transfer, using the squeegee to push it through the silk screen area of the transfer onto the surface beneath it. I'm going to make sure that all the silk screen is covered. Remove any excess paste. Make sure there aren't any lines. I just went off the board, off the transfer there, so I need to clean that up. Put the excess back into my jar. Cover that up. And then I'm going to lift up my transfer. You always want to lift from the top, the bottom, the left or the right. You never want to pull or tug on the diagonal because you could potentially stretch your transfer. I'm going to put this on the side for the second. Now I went off the transfer, so I want to clean that up right away before it actually leaves pigment on my surface. So I'm using a little bit of water and a paper towel, and I'm going to just wipe that right off. Oh yes. What was I saying about pigmentation? Let's see. if I can get this off with our board erasers. This is our board eraser, which is good for removing oopses like this from your surface, and also removing pigmentation from your chalk paste off of your transfer. So that looks pretty good. What do you think? Cute little chicken there, isn't it? So I'm going to put this aside to dry. Our paste goes on wet, but dries to a hard matte finish. I'm going to set it aside to dry, and I'm going to grab my transfer and clean it and show you basically how you clean it. The easiest way would be to run this over to the sink and rinse it off. However, I can't bring the camera with me to the sink, so I'm just going to spritz the back of it, the adhesive side, flip it over, spritz the front with water, and grab a disinfecting wipe and clean off the paste. Now you want to make sure that you use a Clorox or a Lysol, or even actually it doesn't have to be a brand name disinfecting wipe. You just do not want to use something like baby wipes, because baby wipes have emollients in it for baby skin, and you don't want to be putting that type of oil on your transfer. So a disinfecting wipe works really good. I usually use a circular motion to clean the silk screen. This is a little soupy from all the water that I sprayed on it. So I'm going to take my paper towel and kind of mop that up a little bit. Flip it over. Clean the other side. Oh, I do give a little bit of a soupy mess here, don't I? A little bit too much water. Let me grab another disinfectant wipe. Basically what I do after I clean the front and I clean the back, the adhesive portion, after I get all the silk, the chalk out of the silk screen, I then go back over the back that I've fuzzed with a disinfecting wipe, and I go across it horizontally, and basically this will pick up the lint. I'm actually picking up a little more chalk paste, but it'll pick up the lint from my fuzzing cloth and basically renew the adhesive. You can see I've got a little lint coming off the side there. And then to speed drying, you could use your fuzzing cloth, the microfiber side, to get this transfer to dry a little bit quicker than normal. So this is the microfiber side. I'm laying on it, laying the transfer on, adhesive side up. I'm going to fold it over, squeeze out the moisture, and then set this aside to dry. And you can see it's already getting sticky and sticking to my fingers. So we'll let that dry for a moment. Let me clean my surface off here, make sure it's dry. And this looks like it is dry. I know when I used this originally, I slid it back in while it was still wet and smeared it, so I wanted to make sure it's completely dry this time. And like I said, this was just a little found surface, and I think it's cute. I think it'll match nicely with our other teal decor in the kitchen. Feels like home, from our Farm Charm collection. So now that this is dry, I'm going to show you how you put the back or the carrier sheet on it. Remember I said you use the shiny side against the adhesive side? Always apply the back or the carrier sheet to the transfer, never the transfer to the backer, because the transfer is sticky and you don't want to be trying to hold that in position. So have it laying sticky side up, line up the backer sheet to your transfer. Oh, please ignore my little husky girl. And then press down. Oops, that's a little crooked. Let's do that again. Miyagi. Somebody's looking for attention, right? Oops, it's a little bit too sticky for my fingers here. Okay. I've got the sun shining right in my face right now, so I'm having a little bit of a hard time with that. Okay, and then basically just put it back in its little cellophane envelope for storage. I do that. You don't have to. You could put it in a portfolio if that's what you want, or just keep it in a drawer, whatever. But I usually hang all my little transfers by this little hook in an armoire. So that's pretty much it. Covers how do we do it, how do we clean it, how do we store it. Easy peasy, quick little piece of kitchen decor. Thank you so much for watching. I surely appreciate it. See you soon.